right, guys, so as I mentioned yesterday, today was move day. We packed up this morning in Montrose, Colorado. We hit the road, and just like that, like always magic, we are in our next place, which is a place called Mancos, Colorado. It's just outside Cortez and about 15 miles south of Dolores, Colorado. So we are in Mancos, Colorado, in a place called Outback RV. I'll flip this around here and I'll show you guys a little bit of video about this campground. This campground that we're staying at, that I picked, is not necessarily anything that I found on Passport America or any of those places. I got this from somebody that I follow on YouTube. They recommended it. It has zero amenities. There's no pool. You're not going to find any laundries or any shower facilities here. This is straight up camping, full hookup, $30 a night. It's just 5 miles outside Cortez. You cannot beat this. It is gravel lot, but not dusty rock. These are huge gravel, very clean. When we got here today, we sat down and we were talking to Bill, the owner. Great guy, retired, built this little place. There's only 8 sites in the entire place. And, you know, I'll show you here. You can see there's cheeky huts and stuff like that. This is another one of those places where you don't see advertisement anywhere, but little gems for $30 a night. You can't beat this. 5 miles outside of town. Hopefully tonight we'll get some dark skies because there's no traffic lights out here. There's no lights, so we'll get some nice dark skies. So we are off this morning on another adventure. We are heading out to Mesa, Verde National Park. And after conversations yesterday with Bill, the owner of the RV park where we're at, and a little research that Myrna had come up with, and also me surfing a little bit this morning, turns out that Mesa Verde National Park has been undergoing some renovations and constructions, some dating back like 2 years. Some of the areas are closed. Some of the more important areas are actually closed and have been closed for almost 2 years now. But we're going to head out there anyway. And they do have several overlooks and just to check out the park. That's the plan for today, and we're going to bring you guys with us. Okay, from this overlook, which is Sun Point View, this is the only place that you can actually get to see the areas that are closed. Look right over there, and you'll see the dwellings. There's one there, and there's some right over there. And this valley is absolutely beautiful. Here, I'll show you guys. Again, pictures or video cannot tell depth, but we're really up here. But there you go, off in the distance, way over there. Those are some dwellings. So this area is called Sun Temple, as you just saw the sign. And here is the temple. Let's see if I can see it from the other side. Full-blown structure, or used to be a structure. Whatever was here before, they had a really nice view. Incredible. Look at that. So good morning. It is yet another day here in Mancos, Colorado, or also Cortez, Colorado. And this morning we're off on another adventure. But just a brief recap on yesterday. We brought you as much as we could from Mesa Verde National Park. Like I mentioned, there is a lot of construction and a lot of the areas are closed for visitors. But we did our best to bring you guys some pictures from across the ways. It is a pretty big park. As far as I could tell, the scenic drive that we took with all the overlooks was almost 30 miles. So it is pretty big. It is pretty big, and again, beautiful, all on its own, different from all the other national parks that we visited. But we brought you as much as we could. We did the best we can with what we had. But today is another day, and today is one of those days that we're going to do something which is actually a bucket list item of mine. We're going to go to this out of the way place, which is not, you actually have to go out of your way to go visit this monument. We're going to the famous Four Corners Monument. I'm sure you guys have seen it somewhere along the lines, but it is about 40 miles away from Cortez. So like I said, you have to actually go out of your way to go visit it. We are going to go check this out. We are going to be able to touch 4 states at the same time. I think it's Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. That's what we got in store, and we're going to bring you guys along for the ride. All right, guys, so we made it out to Four Corners. Again, one of my bucket list items. As I figured, very remote getting out here. Nothing but desert to the left and to the right. However, once you get out here, it's kind of busy. It's directly right off a main highway, right off of 160. I'll turn around and I'll show you guys everything that they got going on. But just to give you a little bit of heads up, if you go on their website, it says $5 entrance. It's actually $8. If you go on their website, it says no cash. I'm sorry, it says cash only, no credit cards. When you get here, it's actually credit card only, no cash. So, you know, these are things that you need to look out for. Also, this is Navajo Nation. It is mandatory mask, they say. I'm not wearing one. So, let's see what we got. I'm going to share with you guys. I guess they have to say it because people actually do it, huh? Cremation ashes, whatever. Let's go check this out. So look at all the little shops, and right over there where those people are standing is where we're gonna go in a minute. This is why we came out here. But like I said, this is Navajo Nation. These are all little shops, little trinkets, which Myrna is in heaven. I'm actually very curious to check them out too. But I'll get some pictures of the monument in here in a minute. And for those of you that have noticed that I'm wearing my hiking hat, it's because it's about 86 degrees out here today. It's a hot one. But this is it. Right behind me over my shoulder here is the actual Four Corners. So what's up, guys? New day, not necessarily a new adventure and not necessarily a new state. Still in Colorado, but this morning we picked up and we moved and we headed a little further east in our zigzagging pattern, and we arrived today in a place called South Fork, Colorado. It's just a little bit east of Pagosa Springs, and this is where we're going to be for the next 3 days. I'll flip it around and I'll show you guys our campground, or our campsite. I always say that. We're at a place called South Fork Campground. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's wooded. Right now it's a little overcast. Looks like it's going to rain, but you know, we got some shade. It's really nice. It is a little tight. The spaces are a little tight, but hey, at the end of the day, we're camping. So we are in South Fork, Colorado. I did have a little issue with the trailer. Not sure if I'm going to mention it, but I'm going to work on it. These next 3 days are just down days here in South Fork. We're not really doing anything much. We're kind of recharging our personal batteries, getting ready for Colorado Springs, which is our next stop. So this is the backside of the actual campground. And this is the Rio Grande, or for those of you that speaky, El Rio Grande. And there's a nice sunset going down right over the mountain. Really nice. What's up, guys? So it is another day still here in South Fork, Colorado. And like I mentioned, we have 3 down days here, and we're going to be doing I'm going to be doing a little bit of stuff. I got some stuff inside the trailer that I need to deal with. Needs a little bit of attention. But in the video or the clip that I made yesterday, I kind of alluded to having a little problem with the trailer. And I decided, I'm going to share it with you guys because it's reality, and you guys need to, you don't need to, but I'd like to share it with you guys just to show you that it's not always, like I mentioned, campfires and s'mores and having a great time. Things happen out here, and I've mentioned a million times, you got to be a little handy to handle some of these things, because the issue that I'm working on right now could easily cost me several $100s if I didn't have a little bit of know-how, or if I didn't have the ability to pick up the phone and call somebody, who I'm going to mention in a minute, and call somebody to give me some guidance on what to do. So I'm going to show you guys a couple clips here and pictures, and I'm going to tell you what happened. So yesterday, while we were coming from Cortez, Colorado, on the way here, we went through some mountains. Now, these mountains oftentimes come with 6% or 6-degree drops or steep climbs or descents. Well, it's very important that all your mechanical issues, that everything works properly on your camper and your truck. For instance, the braking system. I always like to test my brakes manually, okay, as I'm going through these hills to make sure that everything's working, or to use the trailer to stop me before entering certain very steep descents. Well, when I was doing it yesterday, I realized that my trailer brakes weren't working. They weren't working at all. Luckily, I have a very capable truck that can handle that. That was my planning when I first got into this. I needed a truck that could handle certain issues like that, and my truck is working out great. But nonetheless, it's an issue that I got to deal with. Now, what I discovered was, when I was doing a little troubleshooting, was that the caliper on the right rear tire, or the right rear side of the camper, the furthest back axle, the caliper is either lost the piston, or the seal, either the piston cracked or the seal broke in the caliper. Whatever, every time I depress the brake, the brake fluid comes out like a sieve. I mean, it just pours out. So what does that do? It drains out the reservoir, and within 5 minutes of me trying to use the brakes here and there, I no longer have brakes. So we are in South Fork, Colorado, which is not a very big city. So I'm kind of stuck. What can I do? Now, the caliper that I need for my trailer is a Kodiak 250. It's a single-cylinder system, but we're only here 3 days. I could easily order that from eTrailer. I think it's $140 or something like that. It's 2 bolts, so I can take it off and install it with no problem. The problem is that we're not going to be here long enough to actually get the new one delivered. So I can go ahead and order it, which I did already, and order it for, I don't think I did it for the next campground. I did it for the other one, just to make sure that it gets here on time. But in the meanwhile, okay, I cannot be driving through Colorado without brakes. Okay, I need to do something with the system, and also when I plug in my 7-pin, every time I depress the brakes, that system is supposed to work. So I don't want it to cause additional damage to the other 3 tires. So I have to do something with the issue at hand right now. So what did I do? I'll tell you what I did. I picked up the phone and called my buddy Vic back home, who's still on the job, still working, who happens to be a certified mechanic. I showed him some pictures, the same ones that I showed you guys. I ran the issues by him, and he gave me an idea. In order to get me from here to Colorado Springs or Estes Park, which is the one after Colorado Springs, what I can do with the rear tire is I can take that rear caliper and get it offline, seal up that one line so that I don't lose the pressure from the brake fluids there. The other 3 tires will still work, and that one will just sit there dormant. So that's what I got going on right now, and it always leads me back to what I always say: if you're not handy, that's an easy $400 or $500 repair that a mechanic will come in here and probably do the same thing, because I doubt he's going to have the parts in hand. But you got to be a little handy. You got to have some tools. I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm going to see if I can, seal it off without damaging the hose. Although if I damage it, that's very easy to replace. But in the meantime, I'm going to seal it off. I'm going to re-bleed, or I'm going to bleed the brakes and see if it works. All right, as some of you guys already saw, I wasn't able to do option A because I didn't have the calipers. Option B didn't work because the fittings that we tried to get today at Napa, sorry about the wind, the fittings we tried to get at Napa obviously didn't work either. We were trying. So I went with plan C, which is old school, crimp the hose, and I'll show you what I do with that in a minute. Some of you are going to think I'm crazy. Some mechanics out there are going to think I'm crazy, but it's a do-it-yourself, get you from point A to point B hack. This is the way I'm going to do it, and let's see if it works. And now, as you can see here, I made this contraption to like a reservoir for the bleeding process. I don't really want the brake fluid all over the ground here at the campsite, so I put this together to catch the fluids that get depressed out when you're pulling the bubbles, or you're pulling the air out of the line. You have the excess fluid, and that's that reservoir to catch it. So what do? We have to hook up the truck like I have here, the 7-pin, hook it up to the truck, turn on the truck. That'll basically fool the trailer into thinking that we're towing. And then I got to get my partner in crime, Myrna, to go in there and manually depress the brakes to the trailer, squeeze them, the gain, in order to set off the actuator, and that way I can be underneath and I got to bleed the tires. All right, so before we get started, let me give you a little quick rundown on what we got here. We got some .4 brake fluid, some brake parts cleaner, and this is basically just to clean up the mess that all the leak did. This is going to be my little makeshift bleeder that I gotta put together there. And in here, which actually I don't know if it's going to work. Whoops. Let me get these little caps. These are the bleeder caps. Let me put those back here. I don't want to lose them. Well, there you go. I just dropped one, but I'll get that one in a minute. I'm going to try and use this to see if I can cap off that hose. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't think so, but it was only like $4. If that doesn't work, I'm going to go old school, and I'm going to crimp it off, tie wrap it until I'm able to fix it completely. All right, so I didn't have enough hands to do the bleeding and what I had to do down there. I did all 3 tires. There was a substantial amount of air that came out of the farthest tire, as expected, but they've been bled. The one tire with the caliper issue has been isolated. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism about it, but it's a hack to get me to where I'm going with brakes on 3 wheels of better than none. So there you go. That is what's called a real live road fix hack to get me to the next place. Mind you, this rotor is done, so I don't really care about covering that. I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to cover this end here, just to make sure that no dust gets in there and stuff like that. But that's it. That's a wrap. I'll let you guys know in a later video how this works out, or when I finally get the rotor in and I replace it, I might even bring you guys that. Good morning, guys. So it is the last day here in South Fork, Colorado. We really, like I said, we really haven't done anything but maintenance around the RV. And tomorrow we are going to hit the road early in the morning, or not really, probably mid-morning, and we're going to be heading out to Colorado Springs, Colorado. So this is going to be a closeout for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage that we brought you guys from Cortez, Mesa, Verde, and the little trials and tribulations that we run into, like the brake issues. But nonetheless, tomorrow, off to a new adventure.